Hello, this is David. This is my second time hosting WPSS. I'm very excited about it. I'm very happy to be doing it. I think that it's a great opportunity to explore multiple very interesting topics. This is the second time I'm doing it, and hopefully it is the second of many, because I think that it's an important opportunity to have a platform from which to share not just my thoughts and feelings about certain things, but as well to invite, whether it's through having other people join me in sharing their stories, or depending logistically on what I am able to do, and I will do my best to make it happen, whatever needs to be done. It might be because of certain limitations that I'm still figuring out. It might just be me, in which case I will take responsibility for relaying information and stories, not just of expertise of others, but also the human experience of others. And if it is the case that others are not able to actually be present with me, literally, and record with me, then out of a commitment to you, the listener, those who are accompanying me on this. Again, I don't want to use the word journey, because that has some negative, it has all these whatever, but on this mission, although that already implies some kind of real sense of, I don't like the military intonation of that, whatever, because it doesn't matter what the words are, the thing is the same. People who are accompanying me on this path, whatever we're doing on the path, is for each one individual to decide what they're going to do and how they want to do it, as together as one, as a group, we will be moving in the same direction, in the sense that we'll have, or at least my intention is that we'll have kind of like a through line that kind of threads through all of us who are going together, and the thread also kind of, it's I see it in my mind. I see it in my mind right now. I can't describe it. The thread goes through all of us and passes also like simultaneously, it's like threaded and wrapped around through something that goes through like the middle of us and straight forward. So we're like each individually one and each choosing our path. It's not my place to tell anyone or instruct anyone. What I can do, because I'm not anyone's teacher, I'm not anyone's guru, I'm not anyone's parent, I'm not anyone's God, I'm not anyone's anything. I'm not more important than anyone, and I'm not saying that I know more than anyone about any of these things. In fact, I probably, in a certain way, know least of anyone, because in a way, I'm at the beginning of my own journey right now. Even though I've journeyed a long distance until now, there's several stages of the journey, and this is a new stage. So in this stage, I'm a beginner. I don't know anything. I really don't know anything. I'm like a complete novice. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I learn more from everyone than I teach. And in fact, there are times when people have come to me and said, "You've taught me so much." And I've said to them, and I felt it. It sounds like a cliche, like I learn more from you, or like I learn more from them, especially if I'm talking to a third party about a class that I was teaching, or about people that I was helping in some way, or that people like, and these are people that might say like I might have transformed their lives, I might have changed their lives. But even those people, I ended up learning more from them. And I know it sounds so stupid, it sounds so cliche, like a teacher of like a bunch of like infants, or like who works with like special needs kids, and you say, "Wow, you're doing such amazing work," and you're like, "Well, they're doing actually more for me," and you're like, "I don't see how that's possible. I have their children or their special needs," and you think, and it's not just about limitations, or it's like, because there's something about the experience that even if they're not literally teaching you something that you didn't know, first of all, it opens your eyes to so many things, especially when you're teaching something about which you're extremely familiar and you feel like you have mastered it. There's always going to be like more doorways. It's like, say there's like a mansion and you're familiar with it, you've spent a lot of time there, you may not have lived there, but you've been like a docent, and so you know every crevice of that mansion. And year after year, you're helping people, you're showing them, because you've studied it. You not only know the physical thing, but you know the history of it, and the history of the family that might have lived there, or the the political intrigues, whatever. If it's a mansion that was owned by someone who operated at a very high level in like the government or something, and you're extremely familiar. And then you have tours of sometimes tourists, sometimes school children, sometimes adults, sometimes historical aficionados who know about it, and even then you might know more about them, about that particular place. And they might be surprised that you know much more about them, because they might be experts in that area. But the point is that every now and then, one of them will be like, "What's behind that door?" Or "What's in that vase?" Or "What's in that tureen?" And it could be something where, because of the volume of the stuff you have to do, and also the administrative work and the paperwork that you have to do in addition to your regular duties and preparing, that there might be things that you just didn't know about because it was either such a given. It's like you know everything about a certain room, but there might be a piece of furniture and like a secret compartment that there's no way you could have known. Nobody could blame you for not knowing about that secret compartment. But even other things that might seem like, well, how come nobody opened this like soup tureen or whatever, if you're like in the kitchen or something? And it could be, first of all, it could be a new item that was brought in, because sometimes, especially in some museums, some mansions that have been converted to museums, sometimes there are things out on loan, sometimes something was out on loan when you started working there, sometimes they just kind of circulate different things throughout the house. Sometimes people place things, sometimes you might have an idea about something, but there's someone else who's kind of has their own idea about what should go, especially if they have more authority than you, in which case your opinion doesn't really count for anything. But that's okay, because you focus on your job. But the point is that someone might put something there and you didn't know that they were going to do it. And also, you're covering so much territory, you might not be aware of every single thing. There's no way to know. There's no possible way to know. So you cannot be blamed for not knowing something that may not have even been there the last time you were there. And so maybe you walk in and there's like a new item, and you're doing a tour and you didn't have enough time to review any changes. Even if they send you the changes, you don't have time to review it because these things take so much time. People don't realize how much time is involved in things like that. And then you're walking with a tour that maybe you're covering for someone else. Maybe you were not even scheduled to do a tour. Maybe you were there helping someone else out who did not show up, and you were not even supposed to be doing a tour because you were there for a completely unrelated reason, unrelated to doing tours at all. You were there doing something unrelated, and someone else who was supposed to be doing a tour says, "Can you do it?" And maybe it's a group chat, and you're like, "Well, I'm here, but nobody knows that I'm here technically, so I could just ignore it because I'm not even on duty. I'm not supposed to be here. It's not my job to cover for someone else." But even though you don't need to respond to that, to the group message, and you could just pretend either you're not there, or you don't have to respond at all because it's your day off. So nobody expects you to respond, and the truth is nobody cares. Like, for all the amount that we think people are so hyper-focused on us, nobody really cares. Like, nobody cares about what you're doing. And in a way, it's kind of difficult, but I think part of adulthood is accepting that, in a way, we're kind of alone. It sucks, but that's the truth. But in a way, it's kind of a good thing because you realize, like, I'm so preoccupied, I'm so worried about all these things that other people are thinking about me or whatever. But the truth is, nobody cares. Nobody knows what you're doing. People are so involved. They're already involved with their own life. It's called like the spotlight effect or something like that, how we think everyone's aware. But they're not, okay? Get over yourself. And in the end, at first, like, well, it's in the childish way, I'm so used to wanting to be the center of the world, but you're not. And it sucks. But in a way, it's good because there's just so much less to worry about. So I'm saying in that scenario, you don't have to respond to the group text because nobody knows your schedules. Nobody keeping track. Are you there? You shouldn't be there. And the truth is that people who know your schedule, because there are people like that, people who like obsessively like know everyone's schedule because they're whatever. But according to them, you're not even there that day, so you don't need to respond. But if you're in the situation where sometimes I've been in that situation, and I'm sure some of you guys have, where you just want to do the right thing, you want to go above and beyond. And God knows how much does that cost us. So you respond. You say, "Hey, I'm here, and I'll try and see if I can find a replacement." And now you're on the hook. And now you're like, "Fuck, I have to find a replacement for this person. I'm not even supposed to be here at all." And then, needless to say, you cannot find a replacement. And you could simply say, "I'm not covering your tour," because it's not your job. You weren't even supposed to be there at all. But one of the things that I believe is like it's about taking responsibility, right? If I tell someone that I'm going to find someone for their tour, then even though it was not my intention was like I had to come in here and do some things which weren't even things I was supposed to do in the first place, I just want to do those things and get out and go home because I have a life. I have a million things to do myself. I don't have time to just like wander back into work when I'm not supposed to be there. Trust me, I did not want to be there. But I was there out of obligation, on something totally unrelated. And so then you see a text, you see group chat, and you're like, okay, I'll see if I can find someone. Now I could have said, like, sorry, couldn't have found someone, good luck, bye. My mistake, in that situation, hypothetically, is that I'm the kind of person who takes ownership, who takes responsibility. Now, in a larger sense, that's a good thing. Sorry for all the noise in the background. I'm kind of like nervously fidgeting. In a larger sense, I'll turn that off. In a larger sense, it's a good thing to take responsibility. But what that means is that when you suggest a solution to a problem, that wasn't even your problem to begin with, and nobody asked you for the solution, but you, by way of wanting to contribute and help, you suggest a solution, that solution doesn't work, or the solution is not available because the solution is not doing their job either. But now you can either say, hey, it didn't work. I was happy to offer an unsolicited solution, which I didn't have to do. But now that that's not happening, it's like, okay, you could walk away, which I often do. But sometimes it's like, especially if it's not a problem that I created, and it's not something, and it's my responsibility whatsoever. If anything, I take too much responsibility for too many things, and I'm sick of it. But that's about me. I'm the one who does that. And then, I'm frustrated that I get all this responsibility because I asked for it. My fault. So if I'm stuck because someone else fucked up, and now I'm doing their job. Whose fault? Their fault for fucking up. Their fault for being a fucking incompetent idiot. But where my role comes into it and how I'm affected is partially my fault. Largely my fault, because I am the one who kind of voluntarily entered that situation because I wanted to help. But it was my mistake. I never learned. I don't want to use the word never. Prior to this moment, I haven't learned. Or no, that's not true. I kind of have learned. Prior to recent, to this moment, I hadn't learned to keep my nose out of it and to stop volunteering and stop being the fucking hero. More recently, I have learned that and I took a stand. I'm not going to go into it because that's my personal life and you don't need to know that, because this space is about you guys. It's not about me and my personal life. And I'll thank you guys not to ask me or like write in questions, because it's a violation of boundaries. And notice how until this moment I haven't spoken at all about the things that were written about the first broadcast. And I'm not going to, because it doesn't matter. Because how I feel, my response to things that were written are my business. And I'm not going to dignify some horrendous things that were said about me, about my presentation, about whatever. And I'm not going to dignify that with a response, because it doesn't merit it. Okay? Because it's one thing if you, first of all, are a professional in the industry and you want to give me feedback and you want to respectfully contact me, which you can't because you don't have my information, and I do not trust any of you with my information now, especially after what I've seen. But if you were a professional, which clearly no one who said those things is a professional, because a professional would not say things like that. First of all, they wouldn't harp on certain things. Second of all, they wouldn't say it that way. But I am 100% open to feedback, constructive criticism from professionals, from people in the industry who can give either, and I'm talking about in the industry of acting, writing, presentation, broadcasting, theater, science, doctors, like people who either are experts or high-level critics. And I'm not talking about critics as in like someone criticizes a fucking, someone because of the shirt they wear. I mean a critic, C-R-I-T-I-C, professional, capital C, someone who professionally criticizes something as in because they know the subject matter, they've been in it, they lived it, they love it, and their criticisms, like you could criticize the fact that I accidentally said it. Actually, you can't criticize that because that was an accident. That's like a typo if I'm writing something. And if you're the kind of person who, if someone says something that's clearly a typo because the rest of the document is impeccable, and there's something that's clearly a typo, and in bad fucking faith, you harp on the fact that they wrote that as like they're a complete moron, you can go fuck yourself, because your life is a waste of life, and you should fucking... Alright, point is, if somebody wants to give me feedback and criticize me as a professional, I welcome it, I love it, I search for it. Because I'm always wanting to grow, I'm always wanting to learn. I have zero insecurity about things like this because I'm a professional. Because I am a professional. Yes, I just mispronounced something. My mouth was dry because I'm talking passionately because I care about you guys, and I'm not taking a break to drink something, and I have the drink right next to me. You heard it rattling. The drink is right next to me. I could easily have paused the conversation and taken a drink to wet my lips, but I didn't, because I was like, I'm talking about something important here. I owe it to the listeners. And does it mean I have to stop the recording? Does that mean okay, fuck all of you. But does that mean I have to unprofessionally pause and clearly be heard drinking something, or stop the recording and then start it again and stitch them together? I don't know how to do that. And to be honest, and I'm going to say it because it's the truth, and I'm tired of being afraid of people at a certain company for which I work. honestly, I think that if there was a pause because I was drinking something, and I told the editors at a place shall remain nameless, fuck you, and not tell the editors, I'm talking people who are making fun of my mispronunciation. All right. My point is that if there was a pause, you know what? Okay, fuck all of you. I'm going to drink something because I didn't do any vocal exercises with my mouth because I was passionate and I wanted to get this out there, and I cared more about getting a message out to you guys immediately than about how I was going to do it perfectly or not. So I didn't do my fucking vocal exercises. I didn't do everything. I'm sorry. I'm a monster. Why don't you kill me? Fuck everyone. 1 second. And I don't care that you could hear me do that. But I am a little annoyed. I'll tell you the truth. I'm a little annoyed that here I was. I could have taken more time to do the vocal exercises, the mouth warming up exercises, and then delivered everything perfectly. But I was like, and I had this conscious thought, I was like, it's more important that, because I love you guys, I care about you guys, and it's more important that I get these messages out to you guys immediately. Because you never know who needs to hear something immediately. You know, like you never know who's dealing with an issue, or I don't want to talk about whatever because I don't know what the rules are, whatever. But the point is, I feel like my messages are urgent and the world needs to hear it. Not my messages, I mean messages in general, because it's not about me. But the point is, it was more important for me, because I care about you guys, to get the message out than to do the vocal exercises and the mouth warm-ups and all that stuff. And I knew it might happen, but I was like, I'm not going to worry about how it looks. I'm going to leave my ego at the door. I'm not going to worry about any of that stuff, because it's not about me, it's about getting the message across. So if because I forewent, I don't know if that's a fucking word, you nerds, look it up. If I forewent, it probably is, it should be, whatever. If I forewent my exercises in order to get the message out to you, and then because of that I stumble over a few words and I do the equivalent of a typo, fuck you, yes, I just did it again, fuck you, fuck your... If I do that and then there's the equivalent of a typo, and in bad faith you guys are going to jump all over it and be like, oh, whatever, and say some horrible things that you did, which had zero to do with the content anyway, you can all go fuck yourselves and fucking whatever. I'm not going to use foul. I'm not going to use vile, foul language. The point is, in reality, if I had a pause in the recording to drink water and then resumed, if I told certain people at a certain company, guys, when you edit it, can you remove the empty space? I know 100% that they're not going to do it, because it seems they completely ignore any of my emails unless they just want to write something obnoxious that has nothing to do with anything that I've written to them or asked them. And I know 1,000% that I'm going to ask them, can you edit this? Can you edit that? And then when I'm there, I don't even... Okay, when I'm at the location... I'm not even going to call it an office. When I'm at the location and I'm like, hi, I have some ideas, then they look at me with those blank fucking stares and then kind of look at each other like I'm like it's an insult for me to even be there. Like, why am I wasting their time when here I am, the lead broadcaster on, as it seems, on any of their fucking projects that are fucking functional right now. I am the lead broadcaster, the only broadcaster, and the lead broadcaster. I'm not talking about some other stupid shit that they're doing, and I'm not saying it's stupid, and I'm not saying it's shit. But I'm saying that if you think about it, radio, broadcasting, this is going to be the highest level thing that they're doing right now. The star of it. I'm not saying I'm a star. I just happen to be the only one on it. Okay, so what is that? Okay, if I'm doing a one-man show, am I the bit player? No, I'm the only one on stage. And if they don't care what I say, I was going to say that, like, whose opinion do they care about? But they don't care about his opinion, which is infuriating. Point being that, okay, So docent in like some grand mansion, historical significance, I'm not going to be able to know, oh, so I respond to a group text and, oh, right, responsibility, ownership. So that's my problem, is that I take ownership of things. So if I'm going to respond to the group chat, can't find anyone to cover, then my problem is I'll be like, okay, even though it's not my problem, even though it's someone else's problem, and a third party caused this other person's problem, I feel like because I engaged, which I didn't need to do, that was my fault. But now I feel a kind of sense of ownership. So now this shift has to be covered. And even though nobody needed to know that I was even looking at the group chat, because I usually tell everyone that when I'm off duty, on my days off, I do not even look at my phone, much less look at the group chat. And I definitely, whatever. But I'm careful because I make sure that my phone says, like, do not show red receipts. But just in case, sometimes when I reset my phone, if I go through something and I get a new phone, or if I reinstall whatever, sometimes it automatically resets that. So I don't even open the group chats on my day off in case, like, accidentally it says, like, red receipts or read receipts, whatever, like, to show that I've opened it, like, in case something happened, because sometimes I just, like, reset my phone because, whatever, I'm in a mood, and I, like, factory reset, I delete everything, and so sometimes it automatically resets it, even though that's, like, the first thing I check to see if, like, read receipts is on. But so on my days off, like, if there is a group chat, like, I won't even open it, just in case by accident, like, the read receipts, whatever the fuck, is on, and then I open the group chat, and then people see, and I don't want people to be like, oh my god, on his day off, he's still looking at the group chat, because that's the last thing I need, is for people, A, to be up to my business, because why is it their business what I do on my day off? It's called a day off, okay? If it wasn't, if you wanted to see a fucking live stream of me on my day off, then pay me for that. And I'm not talking about, like, porn. I'm talking about, like, if you just want to see the activities that I'm doing, then pay me for that. But then it's not a day off, okay? So the point being that I take ownership. And that even though they didn't need to know that I saw the group chat, I opened it, I made a suggestion, that suggestion didn't work. And the person who probably most likely should have covered that, and the truth is, I could have said, I have covered for you on another day. And this is about the third party. I'm not talking about the person who couldn't make it that day. Okay, that person, whatever, I don't remember their issue, but I remember it was legit. I remember that when I saw that they couldn't do it, I wasn't angry, because if it was something like silly, and there's some people who like say something and they're making an excuse, and you know it's an excuse, especially some bullshitters who come in and and even they can have like amounts of evidence. They could be like the fucking Pentagon Papers, and you know that they're lying because of how they do it. It's like, oh well, you misspelled Pentagon. I'm just kidding, but I know people like that. But it's actually really sad what happened with the whole war. But what I'm saying is that, so, like, I open the group chat, and it's another person, and I know that there's someone who should have covered it, because not only have I covered for them, but other people have covered for them. So even though it wasn't their day off, they should have volunteered. And I'm, like, 99% sure they do not do anything on their days off, aside from stare into space like a fucking retard. I don't mean to use that word. I apologize. Although my understanding is that word is not, like, verboten. Because there are comedians who use it, and apparently, like, kids use it, so I'm sorry, but if a kid can use it, I can use it. Anyway, at least show me that much respect, that if I can't have the respect of, like, a professional broadcaster who is leading on your flagship fucking station, at least give me the respect of treating me like a fucking child, at least. So you're covering for someone. So it's like the docent, so even, and there's someone who, like, you know that they should be volunteering, because not only did the person who missed the day legitimately, they couldn't do it, but they have covered for this third party, and I have covered for that third party. So the third party, when they see that, they should know, if they had half a brain and 60% of a conscience, they would know that I'm sitting there on my day off, doing something that I didn't even need to do. And secondly, they should know that I'm checking the group text, even though I don't need to. Even though I'm on my day off, and I've told everyone explicitly, I do not look at group chats on my day off. So if there's something you have to say to me, wait. If it's an emergency, call the Times, because there's never a fucking emergency. And so they should know that if I am checking the group text and responding, it means that I am feeling a sense of urgency. So it means that there is a problem, because everyone knows that my life is much bigger than that fucking museum, this hypothetical museum. But everyone should know that my life is way bigger than that. And that if I am there helping out when I don't need to be, then it means that I think something is important. And not a specific task, because nobody necessarily knows why I'm there. But it means that I care about the museum as a whole, that the entity, and maybe just working in general, as like something important to do, that I think maybe I take pride in something, okay? And so that person should know that I'm there on my day off, and if I'm checking the messages, it means that I care and it's important. And they should fucking know that if I'm making suggestions, which I don't even need to make, that it means I'm putting in a little bit, I'm going above and beyond, okay? I'm putting a little, like, not just a little bit more than I need to, but a lot, okay? Because I don't even need to be there. And they should know that I'm doing that. And also, then when I make a suggestion, why doesn't someone, whatever, and I don't even say their name. I'm like, why doesn't someone who maybe it's, you know, I'm like, is there anyone who has had someone like take off their shift or cover for them? Maybe they could do it, and I don't even know their name, but they should fucking know that I'm exactly talking about them. Because they should know that not only are they the only one that everyone has had to cover for, but they should know that I know, because I specifically covered for them, and I didn't have to. But they should know that there is that thing between us, because I haven't said it explicitly, but I've dropped hints when we see each other. And they should know that specifically when I'm not mentioning their name, it's because I know that they should know. I wish I could say I know that they know, but they're kind of fucking retarded. And I use that word with love, and it's not like a thing, it's a medical condition, so it's not a judgment, it's not whatever. But I know that they, and also a lot of comedians use it, and a lot of kids use it in school grounds, and so, and apparently it's like normal. So I'm not saying something that people are not allowed to say anymore, so I can't get canceled for that. Because if you just go online, you see everyone says that, and parents say, I don't like the word, it's upsetting to me. But if reality is, I mean, I'd like to live in reality. And reality is something that for many years I was avoiding. I was in denial of. And it was because of trauma. It was because of certain things. I don't want to talk about it because this show is not about me and my trauma and issues and things that I've spent decades recovering from. Because ideally, I could use that as a launching point to help others. I spent enough time obsessing about these things, worrying about these things, going to therapy, going to treatment, seeing doctors, talking to people, and I just do not like this podcast, this radio station, whatever it is. It's not about me. It's about you guys. And it's about helping. And so I don't want to go into that. Where was I? Right. So when I say, you know, maybe someone could do it, that person should know that I'm talking about them. Because if they have half a fucking conscience, then they know that the times that people have covered for them, that's a debt. That is a debt. That is, you go into a bank, you say, I'm taking out $1,000. It means I owe you. You only go into a bank and take out money without expecting to repay it if you're a thief, if you're a robber. So that person who does things, who accepts obligations or whatever, and doesn't see them as obligations, they're a fucking thief. You're no better than a thief. You're not even like a sexy thief. You're not even like fucking Paul Newman. You're just a cunt. Shit. Okay. 1 second. I don't know if I'm supposed to. One second, I'm not ending the recording because I don't know if I do a second recording. Okay, just bear with me, just pause. So I'm not going to stop it and start another recording because I honestly feel like if I stop this recording, and oh great, someone's talking on their phone right next to me. Fuck, thank you. Can't you see that I'm fucking doing something? Okay, yeah. The whole world needs to know of your personal business and the fucking whirring sound of your fucking Jetsons mobile. Fucking bitch. The fuck out in your fucking space car. That's right, go to Mars, bitch. Oh, so I'm really sorry about that, because I was afraid that if I stopped the recording, because someone was making a lot of noise behind me, but I was like, if I stop the recording, I know that if I send 2 recordings to these idiots, and I'm saying idiots because I know that they don't even listen to these things, but I know, and if you hear this and I've been canceled, it's because they heard it and it's true, and I've been fired for speaking the truth. So fucking, I'm going to use that, and this is uploaded to the cloud. So listen, that's right, you idiots. Even if you don't publish this, this is uploaded to the cloud. I have a copy of this, and it's date stamped. So there will be evidence that if I was fired, or if this wasn't even used, it's because you did not like something I said about you, which legally, free speech, I'm allowed to do. So anyway, so I was afraid that if I stopped the recording and then wait until that person was like done with all their fucking business and then start a new recording, that if I sent to the editors 2 recordings, I'd be like, can you stitch these together? It's the same thing. They'd be like, sure. And then they would only do one, and they wouldn't even care which one, because it would save them 1 millisecond. Because the extra like selecting 2 items to drag over, the extra, dragging of that square, the selection tool to drag 2 files as opposed to 1, even if they're not just clicking and dragging, even if they were selecting 1 item, if they can drag that with the extra like micrometer to drag a second one, that would be too much trouble, and they wouldn't even care which is the first. So I know that you would get the second file. The beginning of the thing that you would hear is like, so anyway, because it would have been the beginning of the second one. Anyway, what was I saying? All right. So in this hypothetical like mansion, museum, whatever, where I hypothetically am working, I would have, because the person who knows that they should cover for the person who can't make it, they're not going to take responsibility. And unfortunately, I would have taken ownership of it. And inevitably, I'd be like, I'll do it. So I don't remember what we were talking about. And honestly, I'm kind of wiped. I think I just had too much caffeine this morning, and there are certain teas that I drink that I think that it's weird. Okay, this is going to be like something about denial and delusion, and it's really interesting because sometimes I'll think I drink tea just because in my mind, and I know it's so stupid, but I want to be super vulnerable and super open with you guys, because A, it's true, and B, it's important to me that you guys see that I make mistakes, that I'm not some kind of, just because I'm on this platform, just because I am presenting, just because I'm the speaker and you're just like listening quietly, I feel like there's a lot of, like you might attribute to me that I'm like all-knowing, all-powerful, I've solved all my problems, I'm master of the universe, and I want you to know that there are several areas where it's not like that at all for me. I'm heading there, that's my goal. But there are a lot of ways where I'm human, 100%. I'm vulnerable, 100%. I make mistakes, 100%. Oh my God, I probably make mistakes more than a lot of people. Okay? So I just want to share this thing that might be silly, but there's actually something more profound in it. Okay? So the silly thing is, because a lot of the things that I say and do are kind of structured in that way, where it seems like I might do or say something normal like any person would do, but there's actually like many layers to it. There's a lot of meaning behind it, which a lot of people don't get. And I understand that. And that's like a sacrifice I make. Like I'm going to put more layers into something, and I'm sure a lot of people won't get it. And that's fine. Because even if there's one person out there who gets it, well, one person is kind of a waste of time. But even if there's like a few people out there who get it, like a few people, that's worth it. Because it's also about me. I'm allowed to conserve my time and my energy. And I know there's some people who are going to be assholes, like, okay, you wouldn't even do it just for one person. And you know what? No. Okay? Grow the fuck up. Okay? Because in some fantasy world of absolutes, yes, one person, it makes a difference if you change one person's life, whatever. That's in fucking go back to Narnia. Okay? Because in the real world, there's like finite amount of energy, finite amount of resources. And my energy and my resources are as valuable as anyone's. So if you're saying that my energy and my resources are so worthless, or almost worthless, that I should expend all my energy just to save one person, I would say, okay, how dare you talk to me like that, and go fuck yourself, because I'm a human being just like everyone else. Would you do that? And you'd probably be like, well, no. And I'd say, okay, so shut the fuck up. It's just so obnoxious that people like think they can suggest things and do things that they wouldn't themselves do. And I think sometimes people do that to me because they realize that I'm the kind of person who often will go above and beyond and will do things that a lot of normal people wouldn't do. And that's my cross to bear. Sometimes when you establish things, sometimes when you set yourself up and you make it clear that you would do things, you go above, yeah, maybe your skill set is that way, maybe your intellect operates at a higher level, and some people kind of make assumptions. Now, is it wrong? Should I keep myself, shut up in a room and never say or do anything and not kind of share my light? And so at least people's expectations can be low, so at least they could treat me like a fucking human being without asking me a million fucking things and expecting me to do like the miraculous all the time. No, because that's not how I want to live. And if you're saying that that's the only alternative for how I can live my life in peace, why don't you go fuck yourself? So what was I going to say? Oh, so about the tea. So sometimes I have this thing about caffeine and I get headaches because if I drink too much, whatever. I'm not going to go into it because it's my health, it's my nutrition. I don't want to bore you. But what's funny is that sometimes I'll then like order tea just because in my mind, like tea doesn't have caffeine. Tea is like relaxing because it's like some old associations. I'm not going to go into it. I probably like television, probably because I like to watch a lot of British dramas, like turn of the century stuff, prior century. Oh my God, which century? Fuck you. So anyway, so I have, and it's so funny, it's so silly because I have these associations with tea that's relaxing, go to bed, go to sleep, drink some tea to relax, whatever, like in a cabin in the woods, whatever. Not the horror film. I'm talking like something relaxing. I'm like, thanks. Like the last thing I need is like fucking horror film. Like, yeah, it's very, very relaxing. Someone with like a hatchet. I didn't see the movie, so I don't know, but I'm guessing that there was probably some kind of like violence there. So yes, I might order tea instead of coffee, or because in my mind, and the truth is, I'm not an idiot. Some people think I'm an idiot, but I'm not. I know, right? I know, like, contrary to what seems apparent, I'm not. And I know that tea has fucking caffeine, and even sometimes I'll be like, how much caffeine is that? A lot. So what's so weird is that sometimes, even though I know intellectually that tea will have caffeine, sometimes as much as coffee, I'll still order it because I'm like, well, I just want to drink something, and I just want something. One of these drinks, go to one of these places where they throw a lot of shit into the drink because it's just like emotional drinking. And at least, hey, there's like worse emotional drinking, okay? But, so I'll drink something. So I'm saying like that's probably why my energy is all over the place today, because I was drinking some chai and some matcha, whatever, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to drink coffee because I can't handle the caffeine. Meanwhile, I'm probably getting like 3 times as much caffeine. But it's so funny. What's so interesting to me is that I will order it, and it's kind of like fooling myself, even though I know it has caffeine. But sometimes you tell yourself, like, I know it's not true. I'm just going to pretend it's not true. It's like willful denial. 100%. And I do that a lot. And sometimes it's a problem, and sometimes it's a real problem. Oh my God, there's a chipmunk. It's so funny because when I saw a chipmunk, I was like, oh my God, it totally looks like a cartoon chipmunk. I obviously don't spend a lot of time around in nature or like around animals. But it's weird. It looks like a fucking punk squirrel. But they're cute. Anyway, I'm just like a dog. I'm distracted. It's the caffeine. So the point I was saying is that sometimes, yes, we do delude ourselves, but should we, and dilute, interesting. We delude and dilute. And delude as in like delusional, but also deluge. We deluge ourselves, right? Although that's not with a D. But dilute, we also lessen ourselves. We have like, oh my God, there's just so many levels, there's so many things. Alright, so note to self, because I know the editors don't even get to this part. If they have included this, it's a miracle. And then like, oh, let's just turn off the computers because we have to go. So after a certain, although I think digitally it probably uploads not in like real time. At least there I'm safe. Right, like watch something kind of like software or something or other, and they're like, oh, sorry, we have a new program which does it in real time. I'm like, thank you, just my luck, because I fucking spoke them to the universe. Universe, please delete that part. Thank you. At least the universe listens, okay? Editors might not listen. Universe listens. Thank you, universe. What was I saying? Oh, so about delusional, being self-delusional. Sometimes you just need to do it. And sometimes, like, I'm someone who, like, sticks to the truth. Absolutely 100%. I'm about integrity and truth and accuracy. So I can get obsessive. So if I do something that I realize, there's a mosquito in here. If I do something that I feel, oh my God, I'm totally lying to myself, it's totally delusional, whatever, and I might beat myself up for it, because, like, no, integrity, honesty. But sometimes I think it's just natural. Sometimes you just have to allow, like, oh, my brain is so exhausted. I have to just allow my brain this moment to kind of fool myself, because it's just too much. Just too much. You know, it's like going into bed, and you know the house is a mess, but you're just fucking tired. But it's so interesting, because it's like I know that if I just turn off the light, then even though I know that the house is still a mess and nothing has changed from the moments that those photons stop bumping around, literally nothing has changed since the speed of light moment where I shut off the light switch. I just feel better, because my brain can be like, oh, I can't see all the stuff, all the clutter, all the clothes on the bed, everything on the floor, the whole mess. I just can't see it. And so my system goes into, like, self-protection. Like, just relax. That's it. Okay. And it's so important, because if my system isn't able to fool myself to be like, don't worry, not that I have to know that the room is still dirty. It's not that I'm pretending that the room is miraculously clean, that it's like fucking Mary Poppins moment, that I'm going to flip on the light switch and everything's clean. I don't even need that. But just simply to stop seeing it. Like, okay. And even if my eyes are still open and it's dark, but, like, my brain is not intaking information, clutter, and mess. And I know that I'm fooling myself, because I know that the mess is still there. But it's like, okay, it's all right. You know, so I think it's okay to be aware of that when you're doing it. When you're fooling yourself willfully, it's okay. And don't worry about the conversation of self, no self. If I'm talking to myself, who am I? All that bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. And if you want to do some brainal masturbation, I don't know if that's a word, but if you want to do some brainal masturbation, ooh, I wonder if brainal sex is a term. Anyway, if you want to do that and get then go disappear and vanish into some message board somewhere, and that's fine. But I'm saying you don't need to do that. It's just, don't worry about the self, don't worry about the conversations and those, like, internal perpetual loops. And just don't worry about, like, fooling yourself. Should I fool myself? Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you're just tired and your system needs to rest, and there's so many things going on in your brain. You just have to allow yourself a little bit of self-delusion. So I don't know. And I'm saying that from a place of love, from a place of learning. I've learned it the hard way about, beating up myself, and then just accepting, like, there's just so many battles in a day you can fight. Am I right? And you just have to allow yourself sometimes, like, okay, I'm going to take the shortcut. Like, yes, I'm going to fight all these battles, but on the way back to the camp, at the end of the day of this battle, I do not have to go on that, important paved thing. I'm going to take my horse and cut through the woods and go through this thing just because I just want to get back to my fucking tent and go the fuck to sleep. Because I was battling all day. That's why you're entitled. Because you're entitled, not because you were doing nothing all day. Although sometimes you do nothing all day, and that's fine too. But I'm saying you're entitled to delude yourself. You're entitled to fool yourself sometimes, as long as it's mediated, as long as you know what you're doing and you're in control. But you're allowed to give yourself that because you've been fighting battles all day, And the truth is, even if you're not been fighting battles all day, you're still allowed to be kind to yourself. Sometimes we can fight battles all day. Sometimes we haven't found the right battles to fight, That's a whole other shit. We'll talk about that another time. Wow, that was a lot. I feel like I lost the thread of what I was talking about, but I think the important thing is that I'm connecting, is that, I'm talking to you guys, and that if somebody else had seen some things that were written online and they were afraid that I'm not going to do the second one, and that I'm not going to still be here, I just want to reassure everyone who might have been worried that no, they cannot win. They do not win, and they will not win. So rest assured, because I'm not worried about it. If you guys are worried about it, and if those of you who care about me, who care about the truth, who care about mental health, who care about wellness, who care about the planet, if you care about any of those things, then that means that you were wondering, am I going to be back? And I don't want you to worry, because I can handle myself. You don't have to worry. I'm not doing this. I'm not worried about it. I can handle myself. It was like nothing. So don't, because I want you guys to be aware and thinking about your healing and about your journey and your process. This is not about me. It's not about my story. It's not even about my thoughts. Honestly, it's not about my issues. This is your space. Okay? So I don't want you guys to worry or obsess about me, because I can handle myself, all right? It's fine. I can handle it. I am here, and it's fine. I can handle it. And if anybody was trying to reach out with letters of encouragement and you didn't know where to send it and you didn't know how to contact me, that's fine. You know what? For whatever reason, it's not available, and that's okay. I know you were there. I know you were probably wanting to send something, and if you were frustrated because you wanted to reach me and send some messages of support, it's okay. Let me tell you, first of all, I don't need it. Okay? I'm fine. I don't need your message of support. It's super sweet. It's super sweet that you wanted to do that you wanted to show support, but I don't need it. Save it for yourself. Save it for your family. Save it for someone on the street. I don't need it. I can handle myself. Seriously, this is not about me. It's not about whatever, certain things, whatever, because I'm fine. I am fine. Let's just take a breath. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, I'm going to take a breath. You're welcome to join me if you like. Oh my God, it's so quiet out here. It's so nice. I don't want to interrupt the breath with talking, but I wish you could hear this. I mean, I wish you could not hear it, because it's silence. That's what I'm saying. The silence is amazing. So I wish you could hear the silence. I wish you could not hear it, or whatever. I wish you could experience it. Wow. All right. Okay, great. So next time. Okay, bye.